is making its first trip to the imposing street circuit in Adelaide. And if last year's anything to go by, it could be big.
Oh, Clipsal! Oh, Barguana! And Modesta! That's huge contact! Nowhere to go! Oh, bang! Down the inside and a bit of a touch.
Big hit. The reigning champion Paul Stokel is the man to chase, but with some guest drivers with both 4- and 2-wheel credentials, it's anyone's weekend.
He is coming on like a Steve train.
Welcome to the opening round of the 2010 Hertz Mini Challenge delivered by Pizza Capers. We're here on the streets of Adelaide. It's one of the most iconic racing circuits in the country, and joining me is Jason Barguana. Jason, you know your way around this track very well. It's a whole other story for these Mini Challenge drivers.
Well, that's right, Bronnie. It's the first time Mini Challenge has been here on the streets of Adelaide, so some of these guys have never actually seen this circuit before. But what's exciting about it, it's the first of 5 street circuits for Mini Challenge this year. Should be interesting.
Yeah, heading the field is reigning champion Paul Stokel, back to defend his title, but some new faces thrown into the mix as well.
Look, we've got XV8 supercar drivers, we've got teenagers, we've got a 16-year-old out there, and keep your eye on Robbie Madison, he's back as well, so it should be quite interesting.
Absolutely. Well, before we get started, Aaron Noonan takes a look at this year's field.
All cars in the Mini Challenge are identical, so getting the best driver behind the wheel is imperative. Paul Stokel has the number 1 on his car because he's the reigning champion, but he's also the driver who's number 1 on everybody's list to beat.
I like street circuits, yeah, I love Adelaide. Like, this is one of my favourite circuits. I used to race here back in the late Grand Prix days when we used to race Formula Holden here, and the circuit was unbelievable in a fast car, and it's just as much fun in these. A bit bumpy, but that may add to the character. So, yeah, bring them on.
Clipsal proved to be something of, well, a human highlight reel last year.
Oh, Clipsal!
Oh, airborne backwards. Despite his setbacks, the Sydney-based racer finished 2nd in the championship last year. This weekend, though, he's looking forward to testing himself against an experienced driver lineup.
I love the competition, and the more good guys and strong performers that come into the series, I'm more than happy to compete with. You know, that's what I'm up for, a challenge. So, you know, if you're out there and you want to compete, let's go.
2-time Fujitsu Series champion Dean Canto is here, hoping to turn his V8 experience into mini success, while ex-V8 supercar driver Dale Wood will ensure the category veterans are well and truly pushed to the limit. At the other end of the spectrum is 16-year-old Kiwi Scott McLaughlin. He's running in the Mini Challenge to get signatures from officials instead of drivers, so he can make his V8 supercar debut in the near future.
We got a good deal with Stone Brothers Racing, and they've seen how I've progressed up the ranks in go-karts and all that sort of stuff, and they were kind enough to offer me a drive. That's basically why I'm running these next 2 rounds of the Mini Challenge Series and doing a couple of Formula Ford races in Perth and in Victoria. So it's a good way to learn tracks as well as get to the ranks of the V8 supercars.
And then there's this weekend's Uberstar car, with motorcycle stunt ace Robbie Madison behind the wheel. He wasn't afraid to give as good as he got at Phillip Island last year, and is back for more.
Mate, these cars handle like they're on rails. They're absolutely phenomenal, and you know, once I got the groove and the hang of it, I struggled to kind of hang with those guys at the start of the practice, but by the last race, you know, I was battling with the series leader, so it was pretty cool, and the pressure me into making a mistake was even sweeter.
You're watching the Hertz Mini Challenge delivered by Pizza Capers. Qualifying had barely begun when disaster struck. Queenslander Chris Wotton found out just how hard Turn 1 can bite.
You right? Yep.
Luckily, he walked away from the wreck, but his car was out for the weekend.
It's the first race of the weekend on the streets of Adelaide, and Chris Alajajan, the pole sitter, up against the reigning champ Paul Stokel. And look at Alajajan, Bucks, trying to creep across for turn 1.
He's trying to score. Oh, he's cut across the nose there. Oh, sideways stuff. Look out. He's haven't mucked around over there. Straight into it, these guys. Push straight away from the start.
8-lap race for race 1, on board with Dale Wood. First time for Dale in the Mini Challenge. And look at this, Stokel wide. Alajajan Made a small mistake and Stoker looks for the switchback.
Oh, left, right, inside, outside. They're all over each other.
Oh!
Contact!
Alajajin and Stoker come to grief, and Dale Wood goes sailing on through to the lead.
There you go, Dale in his very first mini race. He's inherited the lead on the first lap, so he's having a cracker.
Back with Robbie Madison, of course. He's doubling up this weekend in the Mini and the Ute. He's forgetting half the time which car he's in.
Hold it flat, down the outside of Dean Canto. There's a good move straight away in lap 1.
Dean Canto starting down the back has had some problems with that car. Missed opening practice. And now the moves begin. Look at turn 9. This is the place where the action happens.
Yeah, Sean Carter down the inside. That was very close to back Stokel. So obviously late on the brakes. He's put a pressure on Alajajin there. Now he's going to want to push forward and try and get on the back of Stokel.
Wood leads, Stokel second. Young Sean Carter now up to third. Alajajin back to fourth, the end of lap 1. Plenty of action to start the season.
So as they come around to finish the first... Oh, Alajajin down the inside. He wants none of that. He wants the spot back.
It didn't take long for Robbie Madison to make his presence felt.
He may have started down the back of the grid, but Robbie Madison putting the pressure here on the Kiwi Gavin Yort in the Squawking Magpie Mini. Oh, I can't look. Oh, it's not a Squawking Magpie, it's a spun Mini.
You can see that coming, couldn't you? So he's obviously had a look up the inside. Gavin's just turned across the front of him, and it's obviously... Oh, Nelly again! That's close stuff.
Dale Wood was finding it hard to shake last year's champion.
Dale's going to be under a lot of pressure here with Stokel, because Stokel knows how to get the most out of these cars. He knows what the tyres are like. Dale's obviously learning, and there goes Stokel down the inside. So now he's got to contest with Chris Alajajin as well.
The battle for fourth was dominated by the young guns.
Well, this is really the Department of Youth of the Mini Challenge. Sean Carter off the curb, Scott McLaughlin's in the gap, and Peter McNiven's right behind.
Oh, Scott's made a good move up there. He's taken advantage of Sean's little mistake off the curb. Now there's a good battle going on here between these younger guys.
McLaughlin just 16 years of age.
Stokel began to open up a lead as Alajajin and Wood fought it out for second place.
Stokel's been able just to get away. Now Alajajin, the big dive bomb up the inside. These Minis are awesome under brakes, and that proves the point.
Unbelievable under brakes, these cars. You push as hard as you can on that pedal, they stop. They got so much stopping power, so much grip. They're awesome, and Alajajin's really used that to his advantage. He's now moved up. He wants to chase down Stokel.
We've seen Dale Wood in the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series and also in the main game. He works at Kelly Racing down in Melbourne, but is relishing this chance to get back behind the wheel. And look at Stokel, the leader isn't off the road, he's spun.
What is that all about?
That's weird.
He's had a bit of a moment there and obviously run off himself. So Alajajin's gone from third and now he's leading the race.
Is this the race that nobody wants to win? Everyone's tried throwing it away. And look at Wood closing up through the centre chicane, and Alajajin knows what's coming next. Pulls another gear. This is turn 8.
Absolutely flat through there, Aaron, in one of these Minis. This is exciting stuff. Wood's got really 2 opportunities and he's not going to make it on that one.
And look at Stokel, he's been able to close some of that ground back. Alajajin goes a bit deep. Wood smells a chance, but he's on the wrong side.
It's great racing. We haven't seen this racing in Mini for a while, and it's good to see these young guys fighting it out. Alajajin under pressure. Can Wood get through?
The first race of the season is on the line. The man who was the runner-up in the championship last year is up against the category debutant. This is the last chance, but Dale Wood can't get it done. So the checkered flag is waiting for race 1 in the Hertz Mini Challenge, and Chris Alajajin will get 1 on the board, and not by much, only 0.3 of a second the margin.
And Sean Carter's got over the top of Scott McLaughlin there as well, so, and McNiven come through in 6th.
Robbie Madison 7th, and despite a weight penalty, Alajajin gets the win.
You know, our qualifying is as many points as our race, so you know, I'm trying to make the most of everything, and to get the jump with 50 kilos on board from qualifying, it made the job very difficult, and you know, one of the most hardest races I've ever competed in, I've got to say, you know, and for it to be in the Minis, wow, you know, like what competition and what a challenge.
Stick around, all the highlights from race 2 after the break.